What's up, guys? Today we're going to be making our Week 7 NFL predictions. Before we get started, make sure you like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it, trying to grow the channel to 400. But with that being said, we're going to get straight to it. With that Thursday night game, we did have the Cardinals winning. They ended up winning that game. I expected it to be lower scoring, but those 3 interceptions from Dalton really got the Cardinals' momentum going, and they ended up winning that game. But let's get straight to the Sunday games. Falcons and Bengals to start off. Falcons have had a sneakily good season. They gave up a double-digit lead to the Saints, ended up losing that game, almost came back to the Buccaneers and Rams. So really they're 3-3, but they could easily be 4-2, maybe even 5-1. But on the other hand, the Bengals, we saw Jamar Chase get going last week against the Saints. That him and Burrow were really clicking. So I expect that to continue. They're at home. I think they'll win, but I think it's going to be less than 6.5. I think it's more like of a 3-point game, and the Falcons make it close. Then the Lions and the Cowboys. The Cowboys have Dak Prescott coming back. The Lions have DeAndre Swift coming back. Excited to see how that Lions offense matches up with that defense. 2 top groups in the league when healthy. I think this is going to be a more of a higher scoring game than people expect. I think the Lions will put up some points, but I think the Cowboys win this game with all the excitement with Dak coming back. I think they win this game by more than a touchdown and get back on track. Then the Colts and the Titans, a divisional matchup. The Colts did lose to Tennessee at home a few weeks ago. They're supposed to get Jonathan Taylor back. This is a game where if the Colts lose, the Titans they're in sole possession of first, because then they'll have they would have swept the Colts for the season series. So then they have that tiebreaker over them. But I think this defense for the Colts is going to step up. We've seen the games they beat the Titans that their defense has forced Tannehill to make bad decisions and throws that he shouldn't have made. So that eventually forces turnovers. So I think that'll happen and the Colts win. Then next we have the Packers, which have struggled, and against the struggling Commanders as well. 2 teams that have struggled. The Commanders are now without Carson Wentz. The Packers, Aaron Rodgers hasn't looked the same without Devontae Adams. I expect the wide receivers, more especially Christian Watson, the rookie. I'd like to see him have a bigger game. We've seen Romeo Doubs and Alan Lazard have better games, have had good games. But I would like to see Christian Watson have a good game. But I still do think they'll win that game, even if their wide receivers don't play well, or that passing attack isn't working. I think that running game will get going either way, and the Packers will win that game. Then the Buccaneers and Panthers. Panthers made a trade. They traded Christian McCaffrey. We'll get into that in our next video and how that affects us. The Panthers traded him to the Niners. The Niners have their first round picks, so we'll talk about that and how that affects us. But I think the Buccaneers run away with this one. Tom Brady has a big game after losing last week. I think they get back on track. But then with the Giants and the Jaguars, another game I'm actually very excited for. The Giants, obviously, to a hot start to start the season. Saquon Barkley has been playing great. That defense has been playing very good. And then on the other hand, the Jaguars, they started off the season losing to Commanders, and then had that game against the Chargers where they really looked good, and a lot of people were actually saying they were going to win the division and have a great year. But then things went kind of off a cliff, losing to the Texans. and the Eagles as well. And then last week they lost to Colts, where we're winning, and then gave up that lead. But I think this is a very intriguing matchup. Giants have played well on defense, like what they're doing. Been a Saquon fan since he's been in the league. But I think that this defense, the Jaguars have really kept their opponents most games under 100 yards rushing. They average 89 yards allowed per game, and then on the other hand, the Giants allow over 145 yards rushing. Their passing defense has been better, but that rush defense worries me, especially with ETN and Robinson in the backfield, and then Christian Kirk on the outside, and Zay Jones, underrated pickup. For me, I think that he could make more of a difference on that offense. Would like to see a bit more of him. But yeah, I think the Jaguars will upset the Giants and stay in contention for that division. I know it's early in the season, but with the Colts and Titans playing each other, I think this is a game they need to win if they want to have a chance to win the division. Then we have the Browns and the Ravens, both teams that have really struggled to find an identity. The Ravens have given up lost three games where they've led by double digits. Browns haven't found anything. Have really been up and down with Jacoby Brissett and that team. They started off against the Panthers. They won that game. Then lost to the Jets in really a thriller where the Jets got going. Beat the Steelers and then just lost 3 straight. I think those losses will continue. I think the Ravens win this game. They are without J.K. Dobbins for the next 4 to 6 weeks, so we'll see if that affects them in any way. But I think they win this game. Then we have the Jets and Broncos. Russell Wilson just got ruled out. Even with Russell Wilson, they've been struggling. Jets have been playing pretty well, actually. Their rookies have made a big difference. Breece Hall, Sauce Gardner. I'll maybe get the ball more to Garrett Wilson. I think he's being underutilized a bit. Same thing with Elijah Moore. He did request a trade. But it's been more of the running game last week. Zach Wilson had only 110 passing yards, so maybe see them throw the ball a bit more. Might be tough though, because that Broncos secondary with Pat Surtain has been very good, one of the best cornerbacks in the league. So I have the Jets winning that one. I think they'll keep going and get to 5-2. Then we have the Texans and the Raiders. 2 teams that only have one win. I think the Raiders win this one. Devontae Adams, obviously the stuff that happened in that game against the Chiefs, I think that he'll have a big game. Obviously frustrated. That the whole team's frustrated with what they haven't been able to accomplish. They were winning by double digits against the Chiefs, lost that game. They've struggled. They lost 3 straight to the Chargers, Cardinals, and Titans. Two of those games they could have won. Against the Cardinals, they gave up that. They had a lead there. Same thing with the Titans. They could have come back and won that game. But I think they'll win this game, go to 2-4, maybe try and get going if they want to have a chance to make the playoffs. Then we have the Seahawks and Chargers, a game where 2 teams have really been surprising in a way. The Seahawks, a lot of people including myself, expected them to not really play well, especially losing Russell Wilson. But Geno Smith has been playing great football. Very excited for him. that he got the opportunity. Then the Chargers, they've been with injuries. Keenan Allen, he's expected to play, but it's a game time decision, so we'll see how that goes. Then Joey Bosa's been out, but I think this is a game that can probably go either way. Saying that because the Chargers are favored to win this game by 5 on the spread. So I think that the Seahawks will keep it closer than that, but I think the Chargers will pull it off. But this is a very winnable game for the Seahawks, especially how up and down the Chargers have been all season. Then we have the Chiefs and the Niners. Big news around the league. Like I said, the Niners traded for CMC, Christian McCaffrey. He's expected to get some snaps more in the red zone, but even if he was playing fully, I think the Chiefs win this game. They came off a loss last week. But I think they win this game. I think that offense is going to really, really play well, especially against a good defense in the 49ers, but I still do think that the Chiefs will win that game. Maybe it's like a 28-3 game. I do think it's going to be that 49ers team they started the season off really, really struggling like some other teams, losing against the Bears. But then they beat the Seahawks. Then they lost again to the struggling Broncos. And then they started winning some games. And then last week they lost to the Falcons. So I think they'll lose this game. But they do have a tough few games coming. They have, after this Chiefs games, they do have the Rams. They haven't gotten going, but a good team there. Then the Chargers. Then the Cardinals. Then the Saints should be healthy by then. So they have a tough stretch there. And then the Dolphins and the Buccaneers. So this might be an important game for them to win. I don't think they'll win it. I think the Chiefs Patrick Mahomes is just going to be too much, and that they'll lose this game. So I have the Chiefs winning there. And then Sunday Night Football, we just uploaded our predictions for that. Dolphins playing against the Steelers. Tua's coming back. Excited for that game. 50-year anniversary of that undefeated team. Throwbacks are coming back. One of the best jerseys in the league, in my opinion. So we'll see how that game is. I put my predictions of that game and keys to winning that game in the video. So make sure you guys check it out. And then on Monday Night Football, the Bears and the Patriots. Yes, we do have to see the Bears again on primetime. Really, really feel bad for Justin Fields. I know he maybe hasn't played the best, even when it's just been him, like his own fault. But his offensive line has not helped him at all. That offensive scheme isn't in any way for him to succeed. Like I said, I know he's had some decisions or some bad throws, and it's been on him, but he has no help. I think their offensive scheme isn't tailored for him. So I think that, especially with the Patriots, the way that their defense plays, and Mac Jones is coming back, I think they'll win this game. And the Patriots will be 4-3 after that. So really, this week is a big week for some teams. There's some games that, like I said, that can be upsets. I did pick. Let's go over it real quick. I did pick the Bengals, but if you guys, if you guys are in like those pick'em leagues or whatever, and you need some points or you're behind, I maybe take the Falcons there. That could be a game they upset the Bengals. Then the Jaguars, which I have winning that game, and then the Seahawks. I think that game they could upset them, but we'll see how that goes. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about this week. If you guys have some different predictions, any video suggestions that you guys wanna see or watch. I really appreciate you guys watching. Thank you for your time, and fins up.